Hey addicts, welcome back. We're here for more Rick and Morty. We promised we would be back, and yeah, we're late, just like the showrunners do with the actual show. But hey, we're just keeping in them.
Late.
Yeah, we're a little late. The last episode aired May 31st, so
that's not that late.
Yeah, it's a month. Late. It's a month, over a month. But anyway, guys, we're here to talk about the second season primarily. We probably will talk a little bit more as the season as a whole, or
comparing half, not second season. But
yeah, sorry, yeah. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about the second season, though, we have the playlist.
Click right there.
Yeah, do all that other crappy stuff. Anyway, so
write that down. I'll write it down so you do that. Continue.
Yeah. So the second half, there was 10 episodes, so we start with episode 6. We have, I'll just read them off real quick, just as a refresher, maybe. We have Never Ricking Morty, Primordius, the Vat of Acid episode, which I find that funny that that's the actual title, Child Rick of Mort, and then Star Morty Rick Turn of the Jerry. I guess I can start first. Then I'll hand it off to you, Michael. Did like it. I think overall, though, it's really hard for me. I don't know what Rick and Morty would have to do for me not to like it. Like, it's just a different level of how much I enjoyed it, right? So I think knew I was gonna like it, and I did. How much I liked it? I think comparing it to the first half, I think it's pretty comparable. This season to me has felt like each half had a really good handful of great episodes and a really good handful of just that was good, that was fine, that was serviceable. And I don't know if that's partially because of the I don't know what the correct term would probably be to label it, but kind of like the formula of focusing more on action or shoot 'em up type deal. And I don't necessarily fault that as like some of the non-enjoyment I have for some episodes. I think it was just one that I was like, I guess I just didn't realize how much I loved like some of the more chill or just out there episodes where there's maybe not that much action, just like a lot of it focusing on dialogue, because I think that's where most of the jokes come from, right? So maybe that was part of it. But if I had to pick one, probably my favorite out of the back half of this season, I think it would probably be either episode 8 or episode 10. It's one of those things. I think if you're looking at the whole episode, I would go to episode 10, which is the Vat of Acid episode. Although I think episode 10 definitely has maybe some moments in there that toppled the 8. But I don't know. What do you think of this back half?
So yeah, I think the fourth season is good. They definitely had the second half of the fourth season is good. They certainly had good ideas for many of the episodes, and I think some of the central premises or skits in the episodes were great. I think probably the biggest sin of the back half is there are some episodes that are forgettable, or like, for example, I don't want to watch the episode, which I'm not going to necessarily go by the names, but if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. The continuity train episode. I really wouldn't want to watch that one again. Yeah,
I think it's really weird, too, because I guess, I don't want to say it has the same formula, but it does have certainly somewhat of a feel like Interdimensional Cable or like Morty's Mind Blowers, but I don't know, for some reason it just I don't think I would want to rewatch that one anytime soon. I mean, I would, but I don't necessarily think if I'm going through a marathon of the season that's going to be the one I'm like, oh yeah, can't wait to watch this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it it was a new way of exploring like different fourth wall breaks and stuff happening, but I don't know, I didn't enjoy that as much as I had the previous one, whether it be Interdimensional Cable or others. And then the other episode that is probably forgettable, that's probably the worst one for me. You have the one, episode 9, where Rick returns to meet a planet that he has had a relationship with. And that one, I don't know. It's better than the train episode, but I think it didn't really stand out. And I think the final fight at the end was kind of like, I've seen better fights. Like, we can go back to the jokes now. I don't know.
I think out of all of the seasons, this one's probably the one that there's definitely great episodes in the season, but there's definitely more episodes that have great moments or awesome jokes in it, but the whole episode as a whole isn't that amazing.
Yeah, so that's the negative side, but I'll talk more about the positives. I mean, Vat of Acid, I think it's not a perfect episode, but it's just hilarious, and
I think I love it so much for the reason that it kind of flips its head a couple times in the episode. So, it kind of starts out as like, kind of like that, I don't know how you'd really call it, for lack of a better term, that kind of like toxic relationship that, Rick and Morty have. But then it kind of goes into more of like the fun side of things, a little bit more upbeat or just funny, I guess, or goofy. And then it goes into super dark. So I love it when like an episode can really just go back and forth like that.
And I don't know,
actually make it.
I don't know when the episode was written, but the talk show portion of that, where the guy thinks he's immune to acid, that's just hilarious. I love that ending. Like Josh said, I also like the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great moments. I think it does try to be more epic than it needs to be. I think like there's two main. You have the clone,
mm-hmm.
and then you have. I was going to say bird person, phoenix person, and Tammy there as well.
PP, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if they just did one and committed to it, it may have been a better episode, but I understand that they wanted to probably combine and finish those stories that they started early on.
I thought it was funny, right? Because a lot of that episode is poking fun at the over-serialized or the serialized parts of the show, bringing back Tammy, bringing back Phoenix Person, but they really do get rid of them pretty easily, or at least, the conflict is seemingly over by the end of the episode. Now, that does leave new avenues for them to go to later on, but I just find it funny that, they set it up like that, but then, like you said, they touch on the Beth, is she a clone? And that's going to obviously have big serialized changes or at least, even if they keep the episode by episode, of which they obviously are, but, when they do focus more on just, the one-offs, that's still a part that, because it's kind of changed the dynamic in the show, that's going to be present in even some of those one-off episodes. So it's just kind of funny that they made fun of it, but then also stuck to doing something that does change the show a little bit, at least for, even if it's temporarily, for like another season.
Yeah, and I think it would be hard to have an overall theme for this season because I haven't watched the first half in a long time, and I think they're a lot disconnected in some ways. But the theme that I picked up, at least from the finale, is that Rick is finally like losing control in a meaningful way over the family, and I don't know his decision with Beth and the clone, which kind of spoilers, but. I don't know if that was really what he would have done, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I think it's also showcasing just how I don't want to say Rick is accepting his own shittiness as a person, but I think it's more in his face that he can't really avoid it any longer,
Yeah, and I understand the major themes, putting that theme in there, but at the same time, what do I watch Rick and Morty for? I watch them for adventures with Rick and Morty.
Right. But that is really what I found interesting, is because this season as a whole, I would say, is trying to go back to the season one formula of having mostly one-offs. Because if you look at a lot of these episodes, a lot of these, even though they do have some themes that do connect, I guess, or have character growth for a lot of the family, a lot of them are just one-offs, and that is a lot of what the first or second season is. So it's kind of interesting to me that going back to kind of that, what most people would say is the glory days of Rick and Morty, wasn't necessarily something that I think was a plus about the season as a whole. I still want one-offs, don't get me wrong, but I think I don't know, either it was the way that they executed it, or it was just that it didn't feel right at this time. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean this isn't the video to compare seasons, but maybe we after reflecting on this and going back and probably watching it again and looking at our reviews, we can probably more accurately rank where the whole season fits.
Right.
If it's better than season 3, better than season 2, better than season 1, etc., or worse. But overall, when I finished watching the show, I was satisfied with the journey I had been on, and I was looking forward to more Rick and Morty. So overall, I think it was a success. Obviously, I don't know financially, but I'm sure it's been popular. But for me, I was happy that season 4 came out and that I watched it. And in the meantime, there's some side projects that the creators have done that we have additional content to watch.
True.
I'm okay waiting a year or however long it takes for season 5, and we'll see where it goes, and we'll see how Rick and Morty changes in the future.
I think there was definitely a lot that I still enjoyed. It's one of those shows that it hasn't been on air for, well, we're getting close to it being, I guess, on TV for a considerable amount of time, but this isn't a show that's got like 10 seasons yet, right? So even if there is some of those minor complaints, those aren't really things that really pop up, or I guess have like a really big negative thing that you can really focus on until you've seen that quite a bit. But I think it was still enjoyable. I still enjoyed it. Now, I did want to ask you one question though. Between both halves, which one would you list as the better one? Or, well, you can do or and, but I was wondering also, what would be your favorite episode out of the season?
It's been a while. I'd have to go back a little bit and go through the other first half. I think I probably like the second half better just because it had higher highs. And I still think either Vat of Acid or the finale was probably my favorite episode of the season. But yeah, additionally, one thing that they did improve over season 3 is the finale of this season is definitely a lot better. And it's not as disappointing as season 3 was. So you have a lot of like fan service for those people who care about the characters that are in the show. That were in the show previously, and definitely it was hyped up from like the trailer and whatever, but it definitely didn't disappoint.
I think you can definitely the whole history of the show is pretty crazy, because like I feel like the actual content of the show really reflects what the creators restrictions or financial success kind of influenced it, so it's kind of cool seeing how much they take their own life or their own experience and put it into the show, or obviously they do pop culture as well. I would say for me, I don't know, I definitely agree with you. Back half of the season had probably higher highs, but I think as a whole, I think I like the first half maybe better. I don't know. That's not the definitive answer. We'll be back for like maybe a full on review, because this is more of a discussion. But I think right now, just where I'm sitting at, One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty, that one might be the best episode of the season. It's just so great. How can you be, you son of a bitch? It's just so fun. Yeah, I'm in, so.
The heist movie parodies was something original, and it was a great one-off for sure. Yeah,
well, and I think it's also one that everybody can get behind, because, how great are heist movies when you really break them down to the pen and paper plot. But I guess that will conclude this. We've rambled on long enough. This is just a short little discussion to kind of wet your whistle until we maybe come back for the official review. Edix, we'll be back for more. We did do a video on Solar Opposites, which is a show that Justin Roiland had created. Yeah, it'll be up here, I swear, or it'll be at the end card, one of the two. Stay tuned, because we do have some other stuff. I have to still discuss it with Michael, but there is another show that is kind of in the same vein of this, or is going to be sort of familiar, that I would love to bring to the channel to talk about for you guys. But that is for another day, so we will see you guys later. Peace, addicts.
Later.